Peace, people. Welcome to the latest episode of the Rough Draft. I am your host, Roberto Savio, and in this Latino Heritage Month edition of the Rough Draft, I will be talking about my ninth book release called Fiesta Girl. Now, Fiesta Girl was released in 2018. It is actually, I talked a little bit about it in episode 5 and episode 10. It's one of my projects that I converted from a screenplay into a novel. Um, Actually, Fiesta Girl has a little bit of a long history. It's very, very, very loosely based on my time wanting to be a music artist. Long story short, back in about 93, I joined up with some high school friends. We ended up forming a music group that only lasted like about 2 years. And the group broke up, and I ended up leaving the group with a couple of songs that I wrote and a very bad taste in my mouth towards my so-called friends. So the thing about it is, it was originally supposed to be we were supposed to be a rap duo. Ended up being a three-man music group. We were supposed to be doing Latin freestyle music, which was a bit of an issue for me. Um, but long story short, the group, like I said, it only lasted about 2 years. Um, wrote a bunch of songs about it. Was a little mad after everything happened and after I calmed down. I kind of started going over the songs I had written. It was about 8 songs in total, and I kind of noticed that sequentially speaking, the songs actually told a story. So I did what I did best since I wasn't going to be able to do anything with the songs. I decided to write them as a script, as a movie. So the story revolves around two main characters, Alonso Carrion and Rita Lebron. Alonzo is he is a writer actually. He's a college student. He's taking up English lit, and he's kind of a hopeless romantic. His love interest, Rita, she is a fashion designer. She's going to school for fashion design and wants to eventually open her own fashion line, her own boutique. And they actually end up meeting each other at a house party in the Lower East Side. No, in the East Village. I'm sorry, because Rita is from the Lower East Side and Alonzo's from Brooklyn. But they actually have a chance meeting at this house party that Alonzo gets invited to by his peoples because they're in the music business. Um, and they end up meeting each other there, and it's basically love at first sight. They fall head over heels for each other, and this story is basically the trials and tribulations of making their relationship work. Um, like I said, the thing with Alonzo is that he's a little bit of a hopeless romantic. You know, say he's into like poetry or whatnot, so he likes the whole romantic thing, chivalry, sweeping women off their feet, and so it's kind of like easy for him to kind of fall in love, and then he kind of gets played out easily by certain women that he's dated. As it is, he kind of, in certain ways, recently had gotten out of a bad relationship with a woman, so he's kind of like going through the motions with that. Rita, on the other hand, her own relationship issues is actually she had been involved in an abusive relationship before getting together with Alonzo. And so they both kind of come into the relationship with baggage, and they kind of have to work their way through the issues throughout the rest of the story. And you also have some of the supporting characters, like Alonso's best friend. His name is Nestor Suave Ness Caliente. He's actually a music artist, an aspiring music artist. Nestor is teaming up with his cousin and a few other friends. They're forming a music group, and they do a style called New Latin Swing, which is supposed to be a mix of Latin freestyle, hip hop music, and also Latino rhythms, such as like you know, say salsa, merengue, bachata, cumbia, things like that, and just mixing all those different sounds together to create New Latin Swing. um, Nestor is a little bit of a player. Um, but he is Alonso's best friend, so he can you say he is somebody that Alonso can talk to and confide in when he does have his own relationship issues. Rita actually has two best friends that she deals with. One girl named Margarita and another girl named Miranda. So they're her co-workers because she also has a day job. She works in a boutique, a clothing store, And also, Margarita is also Rita's classmate. You know, saying also going to FIT. You say also a fashion design student. She confides more in Margarita. Margarita is really kind of the boy crazy type of girl. And so it's kind of funny because as I have Alonso and Rita getting together, I also have Nestor and Margarita hooking up together. So that's kind of an interesting and funny dynamic with those two in their relationships. Also, is the fact that I really like this story and the characters because it combines a lot of creative elements that I have. Because it's not just the music. Part of it is the music. It's also the poetry. So a lot of the poetry that Alonzo writes to Rita in there is some of my own personal poetry that I had written. Fashion design. When I wanted to do my music group, which was called New Land Swing. Um, One of the things that I wanted us to do to actually be able to stand out was one, I created the style actually that the group does in the story, the style and the name. But also I wanted us to have kind of like a fashion component to it. So we had what was called a fashion line called Lupe Gear, which was an acronym LUPE, which stood for Latino Urban Plaid Experience. So that the clothing line kind of doesn't get revealed until towards the end of the book. Um, the poetry is throughout. Some of the songs that I'd written is throughout. And also, what else? Another element of my creativity is that I included in this book was because at the time, like I said, the group was from like 93 to 95. At that time, at least in New York, freestyle music was no longer played on like commercial radio. So like by the end of 92, you didn't hear any freestyle music. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this music thing, and this dude wanted to switch styles on me, talking about he wanted to do Latin freestyle, my original partner. Like, okay, there needs to be a way for us to get some sort of exposure. So I'm like, well, because my field and background was film and television, I'm like, let me create a TV show so we could actually do a video and then throw videos on there. You're saying the show was actually called Party Over Here. So it was supposed to be a music video show dedicated to like dance music videos. So I wanted Party Over Here to be for dance music what Video Music Box was for hip hop culture in New York back in the day. So that's also another element that's up in there. I mean, I just when I really discovered the story that I had with the songs that actually ended up becoming Fiesta Girl as a screenplay, I was like, wow, this is deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I hadn't really realized that when I was basically writing songs for the group, that they were actually telling a story in a certain sequential sequence. I'm just like, oh wow. And so, pretty much from the beginning of the book to the end of the book is really what a lot of the different songs talk about. A lot of issues like relationships, obviously, the way Alonzo and Rita meet each other, um, Nestor's fascination with Margarita, just relationship issues, not issues, but like just relationships, how you feel about another person, and like feelings of love, feelings of affection. You're saying wanting this to be something more consistent and solid, something real, actually, a real relationship. You said expressing true love. Like those were kind of the natures of my songs at that time. And also my poetry and some of the other stuff that some of the other elements that I added to this. So I was like, when I first wrote it as a screenplay, I was very excited. I was like, wow. Like I didn't really realize I was telling that much of a story just in the individual songs, and then like stringing them together, and then being able to put them together and put them in screenplay format. I'm like, ooh, this is good. So you say this might be like a Latino version of certain films that are out there, like Brown Sugar, or say some of like the earlier hip hop movies in the early '90s or whatnot that came out. Um, Not necessarily like what was that Kid and Play movie, House Party, but uh, kind of House Partyish, I guess you could say in certain respects. Um, Not New Jersey Drive, but yeah, some of those other like early hip hop movies where you get to like there is a relationship between the two characters or whatnot. So that was kind of an influence there. As far as dropping it as a novel, I published the book through Drafted Digital in 2018. So it was published 2 years ago from this video, and it was originally only available as a ebook. But then a year later, in 2019, I decided to publish it as a paperback. So the book is actually available both in ebook and paperback formats now. The reason why I did that is originally I thought that the page count was too short. So I decided to only have it as an ebook, but sales just were not there. And that really disappointed me because I thought it was a really good story. Specifically, it featured it's a Latino story, love story, and it featured Afro Latino characters because three of the four characters are Afro Latino. I mean, it's Alonso, Rita, Margarita, and Miranda. They're all Afro Latinos, and I described them physically in the book that way. I guess you could say Nestor Fair-Skin, but I mean, he's an interesting character anyway. But still, like the fact that it's a Latino story, it's a love story, and the main characters are primarily Afro Latino. That was something that was important to me. Um, like I said, I ended up dropping it also as a year later as a paperback. So I mean, it's out there. I've done what I can to promote it, saying on my social media and through my author email list. So I'm doing what I can. Like I said, the numbers haven't been there as far as a concern, which I'm very disappointed about that. Not even a little, just very. But I'm doing what I can. I think it's a great story. The very, very few people who've actually read it have given me really great feedback, and I'm happy for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's out there. Please help me. You say, help me with this. Say support this project among many others. Um, so thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft. If you want to get a copy of Fiesta Girl, it is available in paperback format now. Um, so you can go through Amazon to get it, Barnes and Nobles, and Books a Million. The book is also available in ebook format, so you can download it through the regular channels: Kindle, Nook, Kobo, iTunes, Scribd, 24 Symbols, Playster, yada yada yada. It's also available through for libraries in ebook format, so you can go to Overdrive, Hoopla, Baker and Taylor, and Biblioteca. Um, if you are watching this on YouTube, please like the video. Please comment. Give me feedback, please comment. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. Um, hit the notification button. So I'm gonna try to be a little bit more consistent with doing the videos. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Rough Draft. Hope you like it. Hope you get a chance to buy a copy of Fiesta Girl and read it. Um, definitely keep the fist raised. I'm always on my literary grind.